What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Dame, back again, as promised. Subscribe to Dame's World if you haven't. If you have, you already know what to do. I salute you. And if you have, let's get these shares, let's get these likes up, let's get Dame's World going through these algorithms, because what a lot of people don't know is that you say certain shit, you start talking about shit like the Illuminati, the Masons, certain words trigger through these channels, and they make it harder and more difficult to be widespread to the masses. So as the people of Dame's World, if we could get these likes and these shares just up a bit, just perk them up a bit. It don't take nothing to click a like. It don't take nothing to share a video. If we can get them up and through the algorithms, much obliged. But today's topic is my favorite segment. Today's topic and segment of Real Talks. And the topic is, in this Real Talks, addiction. Something that's heavy right now. Something that's needed right now. Because a lot of us don't know that we addicted to something. The first thing I want to say when it comes to addiction, and the reason why a lot of people don't know that they're addicted, is because we try to objectify addiction when all of us humans are subjects. And as a subject, what we can get addicted to would be relative. When I say we objectify it as a society, we say, oh, cigarettes, nicotine is addictive, or weed is a gateway drug, it leads you to addiction. Which, I'm not saying that they haven't shown studies of those giving off those responses to the brain, because all it takes is for a signal to hit your brain, and then one of those neurotransmitters go off, a dopamine, for example, and now you like the process of smoking the cigarette, and that dopamine effect has you going back to it. So it's not to say that those objects may not get people addictive, but it's more so to say that we need to focus on the subjects and what they're already privy to when it comes to getting addictive. Because one person can smoke a cigarette and then love it for the rest of their life and could never turn back. It's just, man, match made in heaven. And then another motherfucker could smoke a cigarette and it doesn't give them that feel, or that neurotransmitter doesn't go off. That signal doesn't resonate. And it's like, I'm fucking disgusted by cigarettes. So it's not necessarily the objects, and more so the subjects. And when we talk about this and when we ask, okay, why is it like that? Why is it the subjects? Why can a nigga be addicted to liquor while this person can drink liquor all day but then be good off it, for a year, 2 years? This is where we have to ask about genetics, the information passed down to us, and not only the information, but the habits. And this is when we talk about epigenetics. So genetics is just information. So let's say your parents was alcoholics, and your parents was alcoholics, their parents was alcoholics, and their parents was alcoholics. And now you a little kid born. And then once it comes to the point in time where you're introduced to alcohol, you love that shit. The instant dopamine effect hits you, and now you've become someone who's a drinker. And then it gets to a point where you've been so immersed in it and in repetition with the habit that you can't climb out. And this is how people become addicted or become addicts. And it's like, it's not only because of the habit that you chose and picked up, and this is how some people can be so dismissive. And they be like, okay, I don't understand how somebody can be addicted to this or that. Just because you're not doesn't mean it's not a different process for them. When you talk about this information being signaled to you, you talk about certain genes being expressed easier. So when this person picks up a bottle of liquor, given his parents all did it, it's a good likelihood that he's going to get that same high from it. It's a good likelihood that his tendencies are going to go towards the bottle. And unless this person is aware of a concept like epigenetics, where they can potentially change their information, change their genetic structure to not be addicted, to not have that impulse that just gravitates towards alcohol, if they're not aware, then they may think that, oh, this is just hereditary. My family was drinking, their families were drinking. This is an impulse our family can't control. And this is how we get deep down in the rabbit hole of addiction. We chalk it up again to more of an objective. When you say you can't do nothing about it, it kind of reduces it to, okay, it is what it is. And that is never the case when it comes to addiction. You always have that individual liberty, and you can apply choice even if it goes against your strong inclination. For example, me, I realized my parents was a sugary bad diet. They parents probably sugary bad diet, and they parents probably sugary bad diet. So as a consequence, I love junk food. That impulse is strong because not only do I have this gene expression going in, but I've applied the habit. So I've protected this habit and built the addiction. So now, without even thinking, if I go shopping, I'm putting chips in the cart, putting Sour Patches in the cart. So without even thinking, when I let that impulse run, I go back to my addiction. So this is why it takes the cognitive individual choice to be applied when doing little things like picking groceries, going to the liquor store. Because you might go to the liquor store and get a cigarette without even thinking, but then on the back end, the motherfuckers is killing you. Them motherfuckers is hurting you. You're at a lower frequency because of the alcohol you drink. You can't think straight. You can't say a sentence without forgetting. Your stomach hurt. Your liver hurt. You're sick. So a part of addiction, and that's the thing. There's no pro or con. Believe it or not. These words don't have a minus or a plus to it. It's how we interpret it. So addiction, in the sake of doing bad choices like liquor or being a cokehead, whatever the case may be, those would be considered bad. However, people are addicted to exercise. People are addicted to success, winning. People are addicted to good conversations. So there's things that are quote unquote addictive that are good for the spirit, good for the soul. I chase conversations. I chase good dialogue and good conversations. I am addicted to it. But at the same time, there's a checks and balance to where I can't be over addictive. No matter what it is you're addicted to, if you overindulge, it will become a con. So addiction on a general spectrum, there's no pro or con, but overindulgence, imbalance at all times is a con. You need to maintain balance in whatever you do, and addiction is just an indication of an imbalance, most likely. If you know you're addicted and you got the checks and balance, though, you might be beating the matrix, my nigga. If you know you're addicted to certain shit and you know it has positives to it, and you know how to check it, you might be wiggling better through the matrix. But if you don't know how to check it, if you don't think you have choice, then this can become a serious ass problem. And another thing I wanted to address when it came to addiction, and I said a lot of people don't know it because, again, we say cigarettes, they got the DARE campaign with the marijuana, they say liquor, they say certain things are addictive, but really it's just neurotransmitters going off. You releasing a certain signal is releasing a certain chemical function out. And now that thing gets you high, and then you chase that. So it doesn't matter what it is. Somebody could love being behind the wheel and they get that rush. Somebody could love going down a roller coaster and they get that rush. So that's why I think people think that they're not addicted to shit, because we objectify instead of using it as in a subjective measure. Some of y'all can be addicted to, let's say, eating healthy. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing to me. It's a good thing to be addicted to something that's a quotidian choice that's going to be life affirming. But it still could be overindulgent at the same time. If shit, you're at a place, let's say you in a place where health isn't an option. You gonna crumble, you gonna fold, you gonna die, you gonna not eat. So at that rate, if you don't have even that balance, even for the good habits like jogging, eating eating healthy and doing good habits, you still need to maintain that balance. So it's just a cold game. One thing I've not acknowledged when I seen addiction is we always regard it to drugs, but let's look at sugar. Let's look at salt. Let's look at technology. I would make this has to be a grounded claim to say most of us are addicted to technology. We get that limbic resonance from when our phone ping. It's a signal. If you like this habit, if you get something out of this mentally, then you might keep going back to it. And if you keep going back to it without it being checked, it might become a form of habit that's addictive. And it might become so addictive and it's never unchecked to where you doing it all day and somebody be like, damn nigga, you on your phone all day, you addicted. And you be like, no, I'm not. Because you haven't self-assessed. This is how a lot of us are accidentally addicts. When it comes to the phone, when it comes to sugar, we don't check our ingredients. They put sugar everywhere. Everywhere. If it's a processed food, it's going to be some little dose of sugar that they crept in. They microdosing you off sugar. So you might be subtly addicted to sugar. Salt. I know where I come from, the environment, the shit that we ate, we addicted to junk food, processed, salt, sugary foods. Myself, I have to say I'm addicted to that. And that's a battle that I'm fighting every day. And again, one thing I want to say again, the impulse thing. A lot of people can't understand how some people are addicted to certain things because it doesn't apply to them. But you have to look at your impulses, what you're privy to, and what you suffer to reject or neglect. There's always something you're like, okay, I have to do this, or I'm OCD-ish at that. You're addicted. You've created a habit, a repetitious habit that you can't climb out of, whether it's good or bad. So when you look at somebody and say, I don't understand, you have to realize that these impulses are gene expressions given to us. These are not the easiest things to control. And of course I believe in free will and self-control. But I'm not going to acknowledge strong impulses. I tell you niggas, if I don't think, my subconscious is going to walk to the store and get bad shit. But that's the gist of addiction. I wanted to just get out the two essential points of acknowledging it's subjective rather than objective, and also the predispositions that we obtain and acquire that may help us battle these strong addictions and drop these habits with epigenetics. Epigenetics means you can drop the habits and reshape your genes for better expressions. So that's all I want to say when it comes to addiction. We all addicted in some way. We all need our own system of checks and balances. So this is just me letting niggas know. Check yourself. Watch your addictions. If you do got things you privy to, make sure they're life affirming. And even check them bitches when necessary. It's your boy Dane. Peace. Love. Hit the like. Hit the share. Hit the subscribe. I'm out.